Hello and welcome back to another episode of A Method to the Madness, our Breaking Bad edition. This week I'm your host Mitchie, and joining me as usual is Patrick.
Hello.
And this week we're covering Season 2, Episode 5 of Breaking Bad, otherwise titled Breakage. This episode finally sees our favourite duo returning back to cooking meth, but they've run into an issue, how they're going to selling the methamphetamine. Anyway, Patrick, can you take us through the plot, please?
Yep. Walt finishes his first round of chemotherapy and is told that he will learn the results in 2 months' time, around when the baby is due. However, Walt begins to feel overwhelmed by the growing medical bills and the money he made from Tuco is running out. While he is vomiting into the toilet, he finds something clogging it, the packet of cigarettes Skylar was smoking. Jesse returns to Clovis to make good on his word. He pays for the towing and repair of his gate. He also works out a deal to store his RV in Clovis's lot and buys a used car from him. Next, he rents an apartment from Jane Margolis, who manages the property and lives next door. Although he likes the space, he has no credit history and can only pay in cash. She initially refuses to rent to him, but eventually agrees after raising the price for the cash only.
I don't know how much the chemo costs, but the 3 days of his fugue state kind of treatment afterwards in the hospital cost $13,000.
Yeah, that's fucked.
And it wasn't covered on their insurance plan, so they have to pay that up front. Now, that is fucked up. As Australians, that is certainly fucked up, because over here that kind of shit's free, and in a lot of countries in Europe and stuff like that it is, and kind of makes you wonder, like, you know, you got this Dr. Del Cavoli. He seems like this very professional doctor, very meaningful, and he means what he says, and he seems like a genuine like doctor. But then when they're charging so much money for all this shit like chemo and stuff, it makes you feel like, man, like, what a bunch of cunts. And this is honestly like the reason why Walt does this is because the medical system in America is kind of fucked up. And I think it's just an interesting kind of, you know, like, I know it's not a big reason for it, and they don't concentrate on it that much in this series, but it's a little bit of social commentary on like what happens when you get into a situation like that. And some people will break the law maybe to get the money that they need to pay medical bills.
Yeah, no, I think this whole series is just a tacit social commentary on the American health system.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a part of it, yeah.
So, Walt literally throws away hope. Do you remember? He gets the badge that says "Don't give up hope" or something. Yeah, he literally throws hope in the trash, which is a good bit of symbolism. Yeah. Also, Hank thinks he's a great white.
Well, no, his boss does.
Oh, right. So yeah, just more pressure on Hank to live up to this like macho persona that everyone's putting on him.
Yeah, and then he has that panic attack in the elevator.
Yeah.
Yeah, the man's got PTSD. What else would it be?
So I like how Jesse, he's showing some growth here. He looks at the fancy car, he contemplates it, and ends up buying the shitty car.
That's actually a very mature thing to do.
Yeah, so we see him growing there. Also, it's really weird because I've been watching Jessica Jones recently, so to see Kristen Ritter pop back up as Jane is like a blow to my mind.
Well, I only know her as Jane. I haven't seen as her in anything else yet. All right, next paragraph, next two.
All right. Hank is promoted to a high-ranking Albuquerque liaison for the DEA and will have to split his time between the city and El Paso, Texas. He goes out to celebrate with his friends, but has a panic attack on the elevator ride down. The next day, he takes off work to bottle some of the beer he has brewed at home. Marie is confused at this behavior, but he assures her everything is alright. After she leaves, a bottle breaks during capping, cutting his hand. Meanwhile, Walt and Jesse meet again to discuss how to distribute their meth. Jesse does not want him to work on his own now that the DEA has found him, and suggests building a network of dealers so that they can both be distributors and producers. Walt is initially reluctant, but Jesse threatens to walk if they don't follow his plan. Later, Jesse invites his friends Combo, Skinny Pete, and Badger to his apartment, and discusses using them as dealers.
So yeah, I already talked about the panic attack elevator ride. But the beer brewing, how smart was that? When they show the tubes and shit going in, and I still think to this day, even this third time watching it, I still keep thinking, oh shit, they're cooking meth again. And nope, it's fucking beer brewing. It's very clever.
Right. Yeah, to more parallels between Hank and Walter.
Yeah.
Again, like,
yeah.
They're all, he's doing his own chemistry thing in his own way. So I think when Jesse and Walt are arguing about how to distribute their meth, Jesse calls him Walt for the first time ever.
Really? Instead of Mr. White?
Yeah.
Really?
Instead of Mr. Cool. White.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, some development in their relationship there.
And he really stands up for himself there, which I really like.
He does.
He's finally like, no, fuck you. Like, I'm the distributor. You just make this shit. stay the fuck out. Because really, like, all the problems that they have had so far is because of Walt's greediness. And maybe if he didn't step in like he did, then they would be in a safer position right now. Also, I didn't talk about how Jesse, and this is from before, but how Jesse paid Clovis back.
Yeah.
That would take some guts, eh? You just stole this guy's thing and drove through his gate. Like, and he came in with a shotgun on you before, so this guy's serious. Like, he'll probably shoot you if you fuck around with him, because America. And he still comes back, and then you see, like, he really is a man of his word kind of thing, in a kind of twisted way. Like, he can't fulfill what he does because of what's happened to him and sort of his problem too. But at least once he got the money, he did. And when he tries to plead to Jane to give him the apartment, and he's like, I'm a good person, I try and all this, you kind of see the truth in that. Like Jesse seriously is actually a good man. Like, much better than Walter. Like, he's actually a genuine person, and in some ways just very young and innocent. And it's kind of sad that he's been embroiled in all this.
Yeah. So from what I was saying a couple episodes back about how Jesse's adopting Walt's ambition.
Yep.
He tells Combo, Skinny Pete, and Badger to apply themselves.
Does he?
Yeah. Which is something I think that's popped up a couple of times in the series relating to Walt saying that to Jesse, on that paper, that chemistry paper and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, again, like, kind of Walt's influence on Jesse is bubbling up.
Interesting. Yeah. Man, $2,500 an ounce. It's a lot of money. Like,
yeah. I
mean, I don't buy drugs and shit, but I know for a fact that an ounce of weed is only like a few $100. So yeah, that's like, when you compare it like that, this is expensive shit. And man, like, you burn through serious money if you really had to do this shit all the time. Like, if you're an addict, like, it's interesting how much it costs.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's kind of enticing.
You want to do meth, do you?
Change your business plans.
Yeah. A meth to the meth. A method to the meth. We'll rebrand, make methamphetamine.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. No, that's a joke. To any law enforcement agencies listening in.
Next paragraph.
Yeah.
At a cookout celebrating Hank's promotion, Skylar demands that Marie apologize for giving Skylar the stolen tiara, or it will irreversibly drive a wedge between them. Marie tearfully does so. Jesse's dealers are doing well selling their meth until Skinny Pete is robbed by one of his customers. When Jesse gives Walt his share minus the stolen money, he explains that it is breakage, revenue lost from damaged, lost, or stolen goods, that must be expected as the cost of doing business. Walt, however, worries what will happen when word gets out that they can be robbed with impunity. He later shows up at Jesse's apartment and gives him a gun, telling him to take care of the problem. He also confronts Skylar over her smoking, but she refuses to apologize for keeping secrets when he has been doing the same. That night, Hank is woken by what he thinks are gunshots and goes through the house with his pistol drawn. It turns out to be caps popping off beer bottles due to pressure. The next day, he drives down to the Rio Grande and throws his trophy of Tuco's grill into the river. End episode.
Yeah, so what a hypocrite Walter is, because at the start of the episode when they're debating on how they should sell their meth, he's the one that's like, no, we're definitely not going to be the Tuco, we're not going to be a drug lord kind of thing, right? Then we cue fucking Skinny Pete getting his shit stolen by that severe fucking super crackhead couple. Like, Jesus, like, I don't meet many crackheads, but like, I feel like the peak of crackheadness is like that couple, hey? Like,
yeah, probably.
And then his name, Spooge. I don't think they say that in this episode, but in the next one they do. But anyway, and then he's like, oh, there should be no breakage. Do you think Tuco had breakage? Deal with it. And then at the end of the episode, he gives Jesse the gun and like, yeah, actually deal with it, as in go and fucking kill them or threaten them or something like that, which is like elevating what they're doing to another level and essentially becoming Tuco. And yet he was just saying, like, 20 minutes before in this episode, like, no, we can't be Tuco. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Classic Walt.
That's a good point.
Walter White hypocrisy. Yeah.
And even in two episodes after this one, he calls Jesse and he's like, no, forget about it.
Oh yeah, that's it. And then he's like, oh shit, but I've already done it. Yeah. So yeah, flip-floppity Walt. Yeah, fucking hell. He's got literally just, I don't know, pisses me off.
Speaking of piss, there's a great line by Hank. I gotta piss like a racehorse.
Yeah. On top of his, there's a Pope shit in his hat.
Yeah, it's just
a good one.
bunch of colorful sayings from Hank. I love it.
Yeah. Also, we finally clean up this bullshit about the stolen tiara. Like, Marie's kleptomania still pops up later on in the series, but at least that fucking tiara business is finished. And now Scarlett and Marie hopefully are back to kind of, nice terms again.
I have here written down great montage. Is there a montage?
Yeah, there's a meth montage.
Of them selling the meth?
Yeah, just before Skinny Pete gets, what do you call it? Robbed.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good montage.
It is a good montage.
Yeah,
right?
again, it's like it's almost like they use like genuine crackheads or something. Like they just go out onto the streets of fucking Albuquerque and just look around for the shadiest cunts and then just film them, and then give them some meth in return.
Yeah, like how do you even research this? Like where do they get their inspiration from, for their art direction and shit? Like there might be some truth to what you're saying. Like they might actually consult like meth heads.
Yeah, or someone that was an ex-meth head or something like that. Like they'd have to, because there's that movie that came out this year. It's kind of off topic, but I forgot what it's called. It literally came out like a month or two ago, and it's like a crime thriller. And the guy in Good Times, the guy that breaks his nose in the hospital.
Yeah.
He's a convicted criminal.
Oh, really? That's funny.
That actor. Yeah, and they had to bail him out of jail to film him in this movie because they just wanted someone that was so genuine, And apparently the movie is phenomenal, and you really feel like it really puts you on edge because it feels like a true crime thriller. And that's why, because this guy robbed a bank, I shit you not, and that's why he was arrested and they had to bail him.
That's funny. They did the same thing with GTA 5. They got, for the voice actors, they got a bunch of actual criminals.
Really?
Yeah.
So maybe it's the same with Breaking Bad,
Yeah.
Get a couple methods on set.
Yeah, it does feel very authentic, so yeah.
Yeah. And finally, so we kind of go back to the start again, because at the start we saw Chico's grill in the river picked up by some random Mexicans, I presume. And we see why. We get Hank throws it into the river. I mean, do you think they'll heal him though? Is that what's going to make him better?
It's a step toward him self-realizing that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that, realizing that, as he says, he's not the man he thought he was.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But, props to him for, actually dealing with that, actually recognizing that, and accepting that, that's... Say it's a weakness is not the right word, but, what he perceives as a weakness is not actually a weakness. And, that's completely the opposite of Walt.
Yeah.
And that's why their journeys are perpendicular and very important to each other.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. That's all I got.
Yeah, same.
Cool. Well, join us next time for season 2, episode 6. Peekaboo.
Yeah. All right. See you later.
All right. I will admit to a bit of a learning curve.
Oh.
And perhaps I was overly ambitious. In any case, it's not going to happen that way anymore.
Yeah. Damn straight. Know why? Because we do things my way this time. Or I walk. You need me more than I need you, Walt.
If you like this series, Mitch is going to tell you where you can find more of these.
Yep, so you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. And we've also got a website, amttm.com, where you can find our fabulous episodes on Breaking Bad.
If you have any questions, queries, insights, or criticism, you can send them to mail@amttm.com.
And as always, thank you for listening.